Farming. It's been around centuries, feeding the poor and rich alike. Farmers have been the backbone of society for as long as time has existed. It's been particularly important for America's growth as a nation, as agriculture makes up 18% of the U.S. economy and contributes to the growth of food security and $7 trillion as a whole. But it seems like America is turning its back on its farmers. It was only 4 years ago that the USDA passed new regulations to cut out a large portion of financial support going towards small, family-owned operations, effectively disabling them. We delve into why the government is turning away from agriculture and the communities behind it. But first, to fully understand why anyone would want to pick a fight with the backbone of society, we have to go back in history. Farming started thousands of years ago in the Fertile Crescent. It spread into places like the Middle East's Fertile Crescent, where early farmers learned to grow wheat and barley, and in Egypt along the Nile River, where they figured out how to use water from the river to grow crops like wheat and flax. Now this was a big deal. Humans just went from killing animals all day to putting a few seeds in the ground and voila, food appears. As agriculture spread, so did farming techniques. Entirely new and different regions found their own ways to grow food depending on their climates and land. In Asia, rice became a major crop, especially in countries like China and India. Over in the Americas, civilizations like the Maya and Aztec developed their own farming systems. Agriculture quickly became the new way to support towns, communities, and countries. But this is particularly important for the United States. All the way back in colonial America, agriculture is central to the economy, with 90% of the population relying on farming for their livelihood. Most farms focus on producing crops and livestock for subsistence rather than commercial export. Soon, the population grows rapidly and settlers expands westward. There is a significant increase in the number of new farms. After 1800, cotton emerges as the dominant crop in the southern plantations, becoming America's primary agricultural export. The period after 1840 sees rapid industrialization and urbanization, creating lucrative domestic markets for agricultural products. The number of farms expands significantly during this time, rising from 1.4 million in 1850 to 6.4 million in 1910. Machines are invented to help with planting and harvesting, and chemicals like fertilizers and pesticides are used to make crops grow faster and keep insects away. This period also sees the Green Revolution in the mid-1900s, which brings new types of crops and farming methods to places like India and Mexico, helping them produce more food. Overall, it's a big win for agriculture and the world as a whole, as productivity increases significantly, improving food security and supporting growing populations. Okay, so you get it. Agriculture has been extremely prominent and helpful on Earth and has definitely been one of the leading factors for America's growth as a nation. So why exactly is America looking to set regulations from agriculture that could harm farmers' incomes? Well, remember the Industrial Revolution and how it made farming easier for farmers to grow their crops? As industrialization and population growth occurred in the United States and Europe, carbon dioxide emissions increased significantly. Please note, opinions on climate change vary, and as an unbiased news channel, we won't tell you what to believe. We are just here to explain why the government is doing what it's doing. Thank you. The U.S. became the top CO2 emitter by 1887, and emissions continued to rise throughout the 20th century. The huge machinery they were using required a huge amount of gas and energy to power it compared to the years before where they were farming by hand. Gas-powered tractors, specifically, become a hot commodity for farmers. They can do something that used to take weeks in a day. Even better, it was more cost-efficient compared to paying each individual for their service. If you weren't using a tractor, you were wasting your own time. Farms got bigger, crop harvest generated more income, and farmers were making more cash. And quickly, emissions coming from the farming industry skyrocketed. By 2022, emissions coming from American farmlands rose 182 times compared to the 1850s. That's not just a lot, it's an unruly amount, and it's one of the reasons the American government is looking for solutions on how to solve this growing issue. The EPA passed rules against heavy trucks. The rule sets stricter emission limits for nitrogen oxides and greenhouse gases from new heavy-duty trucks. Industry estimates suggest the new standards could raise fuel costs by up to 20% and reduce crop yields by 10%. Farmers believe that the EPA has overstepped its authority and that these new rules completely fail to consider the alternative approaches that could achieve the exact same emission goals. At a time where fuels are already extremely expensive, these rules are greatly harming farming incomes and make it difficult for farmers to do their jobs. But there are other solutions that farmers can take if they want to battle climate change efficiently, and it doesn't involve any chemicals or government action. Switching to renewable energy sources such as solar panels or wind turbines on farms offers significant advantages in combating climate change compared to traditional fossil fuels. Firstly, these technologies produce electricity without burning fossil fuels, which reduces harmful emissions like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide that contribute to global warming. By harnessing solar or wind power, farmers can cut their carbon footprint associated with electricity use, moving away from reliance on volatile fossil fuel markets. Secondly, these renewable systems offer long-term cost savings and energy independence once installed, as they require minimal ongoing expenses and can even generate surplus electricity that can be sold back to the grid, providing additional income. Overall, integrating solar panels or wind turbines not only promotes environmental sustainability, but also enhances economic resilience for farmers, positioning them as key players in the transition to cleaner energy solutions.
The landscape of American agriculture faces a critical crossroads where economic viability intersects with environmental stewardship. Long hailed as a cornerstone of national prosperity and food security, farming now confronts unprecedented challenges amidst escalating emissions and heightened regulatory scrutiny. This ongoing debate highlights a pivotal moment for farmers, who are indispensable not only to rural economies, but also to global food supplies. Amid evolving discussions and policy shifts, the resilience and ingenuity of America's farming communities will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping a greener and economically robust future.